5 Al Jazeera journalists have been killed in an Israeli strike in Gaza City, the broadcaster says. The Israeli military confirms that it targeted 28-year-old correspondent Anas al-Sharif, claiming he had served as the head of a terrorist cell in Hamas. It comes as Australia says it will follow the UK, France and Canada in recognising a Palestinian state next month at the United Nations. Let's speak now to the Times correspondent Gabrielle Weiniger. She's in Tel Aviv. Gabrielle, hello.
Hi, Hugo.
Thanks for being with us. So look, press freedom groups have condemned the killing of these journalists. Can you tell us a little bit more about what happened?
Yeah, so Israel struck around the Al-Shifa hospital complex late last night. That's in Gaza City, where Israel has said they're going to embark on a renewed or a new offensive on this territory, which hasn't previously been conquered by foot. So critics are saying this is kind of a precursor to boots going in on the ground, with the head of the Al-Shifa hospital saying this is an attempt to silence Palestinian journalists from stopping to report what's about to happen in that very, very sensitive area where we know Hamas are still holed up and where we know Israeli hostages are being held as well. So this strike basically hit a tent full of journalists and killing 5 of them, including Anas al-Sharif, who is a prolific journalist for Al Jazeera. He's doing live broadcasts from northern and central Gaza day and night. And these areas are particularly difficult to report from. A lot of our reporting comes from the south of Gaza, which is under Israeli military control. These places, again, we said, haven't yet been conquered by Israel. So they're more difficult to get information out of. And these journalists work very, very hard to do so. Israel says they've targeted specifically Anas al-Sharif, who posed as a journalist for the Al Jazeera network. They accuse him of being the head of a terrorist cell in the Hamas organization. And they say he's responsible for advancing rocket attacks against Israeli civilians and troops. They say that they have intelligence information, including documents that confirm that he was affiliated with Hamas. We haven't seen those documents yet, but I'm waiting on having a look at those.
I mean, Al Jazeera has sort of strongly denied that. You say Israel says it had evidence. Presumably they will present it in time if indeed it exists. Benjamin Netanyahu gave an unusual Sunday press conference yesterday. What did he say about his plan to take over Gaza City?
He doubled down on what the cabinet basically voted on in a mammoth session, 10-hour session, talking about the next stage in the Gaza war. And that is to send troops into Gaza City. He stopped short of a full occupation of Gaza. It basically enables them to surround Gaza City and not enter into these central camps, the central refugee camps, where Hamas is still holed up and where they're holding the hostages. So he said that's going to go ahead. He also accused Hamas of spreading lies about the starvation and the situation for the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. And that was his effort to tell the world that Israel is going to continue with their Gaza war. He said it's nearing the end. This is the last step. But we've heard that from him before. He's saying, you know, this is our last operation before the defeat of Hamas. We've heard that for the past 2 years. But this is definitely the last Hamas stronghold. It's going to be a very, very long fight if indeed he does go ahead with this operation, which is going to take weeks to plan and then possibly years to conquer, because this area is so heavily infiltrated by Hamas. Many of the buildings, tunnels, all booby-trapped, haven't been tackled before by the Israeli military. So it's a very, very large operation that we will see. He has left a small window, let's put it like that, for an opportunity for a ceasefire if negotiations continue. And we are hearing a murmur of reports of a delegation going to Cairo today, a Hamas delegation, to discuss a possible ceasefire. So we could also see this renewed offensive in this press conference that he gave yesterday as a way to pressure Hamas to make more concessions in any future ceasefire deal.
Yeah, and look, finally, Gabrielle, Australia has become the latest country to talk about formally recognising a Palestinian state at the UN General Assembly in September. What impact is this sort of thing, the recognition of a Palestinian state from various countries and international condemnation generally, having in Israel? Is it making any difference to the government? Is it making any difference to public opinion? Or is public opinion still much more focused on the question of the hostages and the war itself?
I think that's right. I think the Israeli public are focused on the hostages, and that's their main priority. I don't think they believe that it's the Israeli government's main priority, but certainly that's what's concerning the public at the moment. And they believe it's a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, that the international community is against Israel. They feel very isolated. They feel not supported by the tragedy and what happened on October the 7th. They feel the world has forgotten that and the reasons why Israel went to war in Gaza. So I think that Israel sees the recognition by France and the UK, which, by the way, was offered only if Israel doesn't achieve a ceasefire. So this still isn't something that's definitely going to happen. They see it as a way to pressure them and to reward Hamas for their atrocities committed on October the 7th.
Yeah, indeed. Gabrielle Weiniger in Tel Aviv, thank you very much indeed. Good to speak to you as always.